Well, hello. Today is the 1973 Charles Bronson movie, The Stone Killer. New York detective Lou Turri shoots a 17-year-old Puerto Rican suspect. It was done with the media present, so he gets suspended. He takes a job in LA that was offered by a friend. One day he arrests a mob hitman. He was chosen to take them back to New York. The mobster hints that there is a big hit coming that he knows of. He is then killed at the airport. Tori soon starts to investigate the link after another man is broken out of custody and killed. We find out a mob boss has plans to avenge a massacre from 1931. The trail leads to another member of this conspiracy, who manages to escape the police. From there is a car chase with him on a motorcycle. It leads to a training camp in the Mojave Desert for a group of ex-Vietnam veterans hired to hit key mob boss gatherings around the country. The trail leads to New York, and the hitmen massacre a mob gathering. It ends in a big battle with police in an underground garage. So this movie was directed by Michael Winner, who did a lot of Charles Bronson movies, including some of the early Death Wish ones. And it was based on a book called A Complete State of Death by John Gardner. And of course, it's at the time of, Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, and it's a tough cop, who goes kind of rogue and plays by his own rules. And, it made a fair amount of money, 1.5 million. And I have to say, it's, of course, the title, Stone Killer. Stone Killer is apparently a mafia term for a hitman that works for the mob but isn't part of the mob. And also, interesting enough, they had two Three's Company actors on this playing cops. Norman Fell, who was Mr. Roper, and John Ritter, who was Jack Tripper. And it was just kind of interesting to see these actors actually play more serious roles. And as someone who grew up in the 70s watching Three's Company. And this is a pretty interesting movie. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of action. I mean, they had the really cool car chase where he drives around through a market, destroying stuff and running through some buildings. And interesting. Apparently, they got the cars for this from Hertz. And the rental car company heard about this and had to send the guy over to collect the cars because they were kind of concerned that they were getting wrecked. And the director had an interesting little saying to the guy that came, said, you should be thankful that we were doing this because now you can get rid of these crummy old cars and get new ones. That's kind of funny. I wouldn't think you'd just go to a rental company if you need cars to wreck for a movie, but that's what they probably did in the 70s. I don't know. And, it's, of course, I love Charles Bronson. I think he's a really cool actor. I mean, this movie is a bit, convoluted in a way. I mean, there's all kind of stuff going on. You kind of wonder about, where is this one guy that they decided to kill who was apparently, arrested for something, and they were afraid he was going to talk about the conspiracy, and there's a lot of other weird little things, that go to this weird ashram, and there's some kind of subplot with they decide to take a Black Panther guy instead. I mean, there's a lot of convoluted stuff, but it's still a really fun movie to watch. You don't really care. And of course, Charles Bronson's great. He's doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but he doesn't really need it because like most of his movies, his presence is enough to carry it. And I think it had lot of great action scenes, including the one at the end of the car garage. A lot of car chases with that, plus shoot 'em ups and explosions. And it's a fun 70s action movie. So I think it's a definite if you have something interesting to watch, I would definitely recommend this movie. It's kind of one of Charles Bronson's lesser known ones, but pretty enjoyable. So if you stuck with me this long, I thank you. You're a unique individual.